All right, we're on. So hello, Felipe.
Hello, how are you, Sion?
I'm good. And this is TCAT.
Hello.
TCAT.
So you will be doing the opening keynote at the g0v Summit. And so here are some things that the audience might find interesting. So we want to do a short interview with you. So the first question is, how did you get into civic tech from being a lawyer?
So I got involved into civic tech. First of all, it's a great pleasure and honor to be there and get the chance to share with you some ideas and some experience, at the same time learn from all the work that is being done in Taiwan and the rest of the community that will also attend the event. In my case, I got started with civic tech from being a lawyer because of the angle of the right to information. That was my first area of interest. Right to information that is, as you know, it is tied intrinsically with the right to, or freedom to, with the freedom of expression. And very shortly, I realized that if we were to exercise our right to information or freedom to express in a society, in the context of a digital age, that meant that most of the information today takes the form of data, of APIs, encryption, and if we don't really master technology and software, understanding that is the means through which information actually flows on the government sector and our private life as well, then we will not really master the right to information in this context of the age in which we live in. So I got involved through, again, the right to information, that human right, more into software. But also I got deeper and deeper into civic technology and software. And also, as you know, these are not totally unfamiliar or unrelated topics. Lawrence Lessig once wrote, the idea of law is code. And that, I think, is very true, not only because code is a way of establishing norms on a computer, procedures that we agree that will have a given output, but also I think that the phrase that Lessig says of code is law does reflect also the social nature of the code, which is it may have an impact or an outcome also on the social life, as laws have. And the way you build technology, the way you build code, if it's going to be open, closed, the way you structure it, the way you think about software and applications and so on, will definitely have, the decisions you make in that process will definitely have a huge impact on the social life. And that's why I think, we're gathering to discuss that, and how can we better impact our communities, improve government, hold them accountable by using these technologies. And again, the way we write that code, the way we make decisions on that code is very relevant, because again, code is not isolated. It can have a social impact.
So the second question is, is the global civil tech community actually bringing impacts, you think, so far?
I think it's a big question, and I hope we will try to answer this question together as a community in Taipei. I think that our community, of course, we're all like urging for impact, and we want to see the best out of it as soon as possible. But I think our civic tech community is still in its infancy. I think we're in this a bit awkward position that is between, the political side of things and also the private sector side of things, or the, commerce and such. And we're in this middle position, which means also that we're not totally either in politics and mastering politics, or either into the market and understanding the market very profoundly. And this middle position, that it's in its infancy, I think results in that many of our initiatives that are socially driven and that may want to participate, say, in the market, to have, but again, put social values in front, sometimes are not viable, sometimes are not well managed, are not well funded, are not sustainable, and that's because we're not really mastering the private environment in which some of these applications and technologies may develop. And then the other side of things, in terms of politics, sometimes we have great initiatives, great platforms that bring some transparency, that may channel citizen participation in certain ways, but because we're not totally mastering the public sector either, sometimes we fail to have a more profound impact in the political space, again, because of the lack of understanding. So again, by being in this middle position between, you know, politics and the technological startup position, if you will, this kind of infancy position is stopping us, is constraining us to have a more profound impact in both. Now, that doesn't mean that we cannot have it. It's a thing. I really think it's kind of in its infancy, which means that we have much more to go through, much more to learn in terms of how, you know, the market develops, in terms of technologies. Understand that if we want to be, if we want to create an initiative that is socially driven, but that wants to participate in that market, then there are certain incentives, certain rules, certain, you know, behaviors that we need to understand in order to be successful and be competitive. Just by having a social outcome that is relevant and it's upfront does not mean that you have a free pass to be successful in the kind of the private side of things. And equally in terms of the politics, just by having, you know, the desire to make social good is not enough to really have an impact in the political world that has its own incentives, where history is important, where, you know, bureaucracy is important, where understanding the incentives of government to get reelected is important. And if you don't master those as an input to the technology we develop, also we will not have the impact we want to achieve as a civic tech community. So again, I think we're in a more infancy stage, but definitely we're learning more and more, and hopefully we'll have, you know, more impact on both the private and the political world in the months and years to come.
Thank you.
So, so where do you see civic tech go in the near future?
Well, I think it's tied to the previous question. I think I see it as improving. You know, I think the only way really to have impact and to be successful as a community is by improving our political and market skills, and taking advantage of something that we have that is unique, and something that I think is more powerful, which is collaboration. I really believe that, you know, from a human nature perspective, collaboration is much stronger than competition. But at the same time that I believe that, I also know that it takes longer for collaboration to settle. Collaboration needs to be much smarter in the way that we exchange not only technology itself and code in our APIs and REST APIs and such, but also in terms of practices and how we deal with things and improve, again, that angle of ours, which is very unique of our community, collaboration. More powerful than competition, but that is a pencil that needs a bit more sharpness. And that sharpness, again, I think, is not just by improving our technical skills, but also having a deeper understanding in the market and the political levels.
Okay. So the next question is, what are crucial key to make the government embrace civic tech built by people? You think?
So, again, I think it's, you know, governments are organizations that have, you know, and this has been studied by political science by, you know, in many years, has its own incentives, has institutions that set path dependency, that have an incentive for government officials or leaders in government to be reelected. Government aims to do two things, I think, just to put it very broadly. But one is to improve the life of its citizens, you know, have an impact and improve the life of its citizens, because it's good, but also because that appreciation from citizens will mean the second thing, which is to be reelected, right? you do good things because you want to have an impact as a government, improve the lives of your people, but also get reelected as a result of that. So what is crucial for to understand that governments are going to embrace the technologies we built if they achieve these two things. The technology we build needs to be robust enough to have a real impact on the lives of people. It needs to be strong enough in terms of code. It needs to respond to high demand in terms of servers. It needs to scale. It needs to be a smart solution as well that is really not just a shiny piece of technology that is attractive because it does this or that, but it's actually because it's addressing a real social problem. So that's the first thing. The technology we build needs to address real problems, and it has to be a robust solution, not a newbie piece of tech. It needs to be robust. And that means that, again, we need to improve as we go our ability to address these problems in a very substantive way, technologically. And also, as a result of this, because you're having a social impact, probably the government may have the incentive to work with us in a way that it makes them look good. And when it makes them look good, they also have the incentive of being reelected. So I think that is crucial. It's not just because we will build great technology and we have socially motivated people and communities that government will embrace it. It will embrace it if it is linked, if it's going to the same direction of having a greater impact that will make government look good. And that's good by us as long as it's really improving the lives of the citizens we want to serve.
Yeah, the one of the interesting thing in Taiwan is the most adopted civic tech, or if we can call that, being adopted by the government that's built by the community is actually something called HackFolder. So it's a way to organize a lot of dynamic documentations, and now several agencies are using that to sort of a way to dismantle information and during disaster response and that kind of stuff. So yeah, I guess when you say that you need to, the goal for the tech we build is to be in line with what the government wants to achieve, and there is that real demand for that. And I guess that's one of the interesting examples that you will see in Taiwan. So lastly, if you look at the g0v, the agenda for the conference, is there any particular session that's most interesting to you?
So I wanted to make up my mind of what would be more interesting to make a recommendation, but as I went through it, I found such a big diversity among civic tech and different angles by looking at just the citizen and government relationship, but also from the environmental point of view, the health point of view. So it really depends on what's going to be what's going to be the angle or area of background of the different attendees. I just think it's just a great event. It's very rich in terms of content, but they all share in common the idea of technologies built by citizens and for citizens. And I think again that is in itself is a topic that is worth discussing. We really need to improve the impact that we're planning to achieve. We often on the grounds of civic technology discuss much more about the technological side of the word rather than the civic part of the world, and that is something that I think we need to discuss much more. Being civic, being citizens, means being part of a social environment. It means responsibilities, it means rights, and I think we need to, again, think more deeper into that and realize that whatever we do in terms of technology, whatever the initiatives, as creative as they can be, the designs and such, are going to have an impact in that, where we're going to spend resources, time, hours of sleep building these things, and we really need to think deeper about those impacts or those contexts where we want these technologies to have impact. And I definitely look forward to having that conversation with you guys and with the community that will be in Taipei.
Thank you so much. Everyone will be very much looking forward to your talk about the civics in civic tech, right?
That's right.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thank you.